I'd like to call the regular village board meeting of Tuesday, September 19th, 2023 to order. It's 6 p.m. I myself, Mike Cappers, present.
Chris Dubé.
Frank Earl.
Caleb Garn.
And we've, Donnie, I believe, is joining us by Zoom, and trustee Josh Hecht is absent for today's meeting.
I don't see Donnie on yet.
Okay. We're gonna stand up for the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public comments, 2 minutes per person and 14 minutes per topic. Kathleen, if you could sign in there and then state your name and your address and your organization, please.
Sign in here.
You can do that after you're done, fine, just so she has
Okay.
it.
My name is Kathy Nash, 453 Charles Lane in Somerset, and I'm here on behalf of the Somerset Champions. For those of you who saw our CAP presentation back in the spring, you know, we made a lot of recommendations. So one of the initiatives that we recommended was having more murals downtown to kind of help with the aesthetics of downtown, make it more inviting, make it more welcoming. So so we're working on this initiative right now, and we're looking at the building at 232 Main Street. It's the building that's right next to the Rendezvous parking lot, the tall building. There's a chiropractor in there and peppermint theory.
242 Main Street.
Ooh,
I used to own it, I sold it to 242.
okay. The side of that building there, it's black right now. So we've talked to the owner, it's Lonnie McWhorter. So he has agreed to partner with us on this project. He loves the idea. He will be providing us written permission to do this. Caleb has approached him about just putting something in writing so we have some documentation. We checked with the building inspector. The building inspector said we don't need any sort of a special permit for this. So we're really here to get feedback from the board, either tonight or through email. You can email us back your feedback, and then you'll also be have another opportunity for feedback. So as far as the building itself goes, there's some minor tuck pointing that has to happen. There's a big board that has to come off, and we've got to see what condition the building's in underneath that. So we've got that piece kind of in progress, and any of that prep work that has to happen in the building will be part of our budget for the project. Joanne Hardiger met with Lonnie, the building owner, and a artist. Her name is Charlene Weeks. She's done these before. She did one recently in Glenwood City. And she recommended that what we do is we do a call for artists. So we create our vision, kind of what we want the board to represent as a community. And then we kind of farm it out there to a couple of artists. She'll be one of them. Vern, who's working on the one over at Sportsman's, will be one of them. Is that my 2 minutes?
No, sorry.
What we're gonna do is kind of create a list of things that we'd like for the mural to represent. Lonnie felt pretty strongly he didn't want business names on the mural, but more things like, he was fine with things like music to represent the concerts, or tubing, or you know, Christmas lights, those sort of things that are representative of our community, but not necessarily focused on a particular business. Some other things we're looking at is kind of creating that kind of small town feel, that small town big heart slogan that we saw that we really liked. Historical, the railroad bridge history there, the Apple River, of course. So those sort of things. So those are things that we'll provide out to the artists, and they'll send us back a proposal, basically with like maybe a sketch or rendering saying, this is what I'm thinking. And then Lonnie will be reaching out to the downtown business owners, the village board, and the Chamber of Commerce to give them an opportunity to weigh in on it. And then we'll choose an artist, and then we'll start fundraising for it. We've been told it's between $5,000 and $8,000 is kind of where we're sitting. And we'd like to start fundraising for it before the end of the year, so we can catch people with those tax write-offs at the end of the year. And I think that's it. So again, you know, we just wanted to let you know what was happening, give you an opportunity to weigh in. If you have ideas that you would like for us to consider, just send them to the Somerset Champions email and we'll make sure they get included.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
One question, the board before it kind of sent back on doing the banners on the streetlights and coming up with color schemes and whatever. Have you guys, been able to move forward with that at all?
It's on our list. It's definitely on our list as part of the overall branding. We have not. Right now, our next big initiative, you may know, we're partnering with the Chamber of Commerce to do the Apple River Bridge opening ceremony and event. It's gonna be a pretty big event. So we're working on right now.
First, I believe.
October 22nd.
21st.
Is it 21st? Is that Saturday? Yeah, yep. Yeah, but it's on our list. Kim and I just met before this and we tried to kind of prioritize all of our initiatives and kind of put them into different buckets and figure out how we're going to get those done. We just need more people. We need more community members to help.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else for public comment?
Becca asked if she could give a public comment via Zoom.
Absolutely.
Becca, you're good to go.
All
Alright, can you hear me okay? I've got a bad voice today.
Becca is the executive director for the chamber.
We can hear you.
Okay, I had heard some comments and I just wanted to let you guys know, first of all, I'm really grateful to be able to join these meetings from Zoom. They've been extremely helpful for those of us who are home at ill or can't get to the meetings in person or whatnot. And I think in the past we've had some difficulty trying to find volunteers to be on committees and volunteer in the community, and perhaps having this as an option would enable those people who are willing but otherwise couldn't get there in person every time to be able to join. And I just wanted to say thank you for having it as an option.
Thank you, Becca. Anybody else for public comment? Going once, going twice?
There's one, it was the chat, Becca.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna review the minutes of August 15th.
I've had a chance to review the meeting minutes and everything looks to be in order. Brandon Crone, the motion to approve the meeting minutes from the Tuesday, August 15th.
Second. We got a first and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Aye.
Committee reports, the planning commission, we can probably go through this pretty quickly, a lot of it's just extra territorial zoning. The committee report from September 7th. And make a motion to receive the meeting minutes from the planning commission of September 7th meeting.
One second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Motion carries. Discussion, possible approval, rezone parcel 181-4142-00-000 and 181-4143-00-010 from A1 agricultural zoning to residential R3 zoning.
Is it just in preparation for the apartment buildings or for the
Growing wings.
Growing Wings, yeah.
Frank Cronin make a motion to approve the extraterritorial CSM review. for-
Donnie Kern, second.
Hearing a first and a second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Discussion possible approval, extraterritorial CSM review parcel 32-2034-90-100. Part of the southeast quarter of the northeast quarter of section 8. TW North, R 19 West, Town of Somerset, St. Croix County, Wisconsin. And I have to look to see which one this is. We put the address in there with it, Tasia, I'm not seeing the actual address in it, but one was, let's see.
Uh, 1670 50th Street.
Okay, for Charles and Gladys Hanson.
Yeah.
1670 50th Street. And my question at the planning commission is, if it's so far away from the village and our lines, I'm wondering why we charge $100 for people to go through it. It's kind of my thing, but I'm make a motion to approve that, A2 of the extraterritorial of 1670 50th Street.
Frank Cronin, second.
And a first and a second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Same thing, discussion, possible approval, extraterritorial CSM review, parcel 032-2030-50-00, part of the southeast corner of the northeast corner of section 8, T30 North, R19 West, Town of Somerset, County of St. Croix. And this one, I believe, was the 533-170th. 533-170th on the other side of the school from the freeway. Basically, they're splitting up their lots from one lot to two lots, I believe, is that right?
Yeah.
From one lot to two lots.
Frank Cronin make a motion to approve the extraterritorial CSM review for parcel 032-2030-50-0000.
Second.
Brandon first, Caleb seconds, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Discussion possible approval, joint plan commission and village board work session for the comp plan. So for we have to redo our comp plan as we've been dealing with for a while. And MSA that's working on it suggests putting together a joint meeting between the planning commission and the village board. Would everybody be in favor of that?
Basically to go through the whole draft plan,
Instead of having two separate meetings, and
Yeah.
can rehash it all out in one.
And they were thinking, wasn't it tentatively, set for October 12th, Thursday?
Ooh. 2 days before my wedding.
Guess you'll have to come Zoom on that
I might
one.
have to zoom on that one. No, I'm.
So you wanna do it on the
confident,
14th then?
The 14th, yeah, it's a Saturday. Okay, 6 o'clock, are you thinking?
I think that's it.
Yeah, whatever, or 5, 6, whatever.
What day is that?
The 12th?
Thursday, October 12th. Anybody want to make a motion?
Caleb Garner make a motion to have a joint planning commission village board work session to go over the comp plan on October the 12th, Thursday at 6 p.m.
For a second,
Frank Cronin, second.
any discussion?
Yeah, just what are we looking at as far as a time frame on something like this? Is it just gonna be a couple hour meeting, or is it gonna be multiple meetings and this is just the beginning of it, or?
No,
About
it's just,
three-quarters
it's,
of the way through it.
you know, it's to kind of cover the whole plan. You know, it shouldn't be more than an hour or two, and it's just one meeting.
Okay,
Any other further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Discussion possible approval of a zoning administrator. This is something that came up at our planning commission meeting. Up until now, if we pass this up until now, if a builder or anybody doesn't follow through with what they say they're gonna do, there hasn't been any teeth or anybody to look at and say, okay, you guys didn't follow through on everything. So we made the recommendation that the zoning or the planning commission also acts as a zoning administrator. So that way we follow through, or the planning commission follows through to make sure that the builders are following through with what they're supposed to be doing. And then there can be some teeth involved with making them do it right. We had a situation where it wasn't until now we didn't realize that preferred builders didn't put up some berms, didn't do some things, and you know, it was years ago, nothing was done. Now they're coming back to build another building, and it would have been nice to have something like that taken care of when it was done. And Tony was also on the line, and Tony said that he can just do a certificate or not provide the certificate of occupancy until the builder follows through with everything that they're supposed to do.
So the whole planning commission would act as the zoning administrator.
So you would have to clear every single occupancy certificate of occupancy, or you need to, Tony would give you a thing and then every month we have to clear so many houses, or?
I think it's just more for like major subdivisions or bigger projects to make sure that trees are where they're supposed to be, that the ponds are where they're supposed to be, that mounds and fences are taken care of, whatever was in their conditional use permits.
So is it case by case basis one?
Correct.
And that should be included in the development agreement for any sort of major subdivision that you're talking about anyway. And many places will have what's called a certificate of completion that's given out when everything's done and inspected, and it just signifies to the developer that, yes, you did everything under this agreement.
Cause right now, the only mechanism, they give us money before they start a development, but then we keep, that money stays in a trust until it's done, right? And that's kind of their teeth, is that money that they put up, is that right?
Well,
More or less?
in the case of that building, they had a conditional use permit. I don't know if they put up any money.
Oh, that's the one down, yeah, okay, that's the
Yeah.
one that's over in the industrial park with it was supposed to have
Yeah.
like trees
Certain
there.
fences and
so you
trees
couldn't see
and
over it.
mounds and.
So the conditions placed in the parcel was the berm and the trees and what have you.
So this way, instead of hiring an outside person, and especially with how small the village is, it just made more sense to put it back to the planning commission, because they know that the restrictions or the requirements that they put in place on the builders to make sure it was done. And then the building inspector could provide the certificate of occupancy, so the landlord or the landowner can move forward at that point. Anybody want to make a motion?
I like the idea, I think I would just, I wanna just do a little research on just to understand the mechanism of it just a little bit more. This is the first time I've ever heard, obviously I love the idea of giving some teeth and hand it to these guys, but I would just need to have a little bit more information on how all the mechanics work out.
Can I say something?
Public comments closed, but we'll let you.
The only thing I wanna say is, why aren't they coming here to go over the plans with the city, the village, and what it's gonna look like? so that they can get the approval here. And then go out there and, you know, when the village gives them approval to go ahead and start the development. And then that person would follow up.
And this actually came from Bob during the planning commission. He brought the language. And to me, it made sense to all the planning commission that, yeah, we can follow through on it and make sure it's taken care of and before providing that certificate of occupancy.
I'd like to add a comment if I could. I live in the River Hills Townhome Complex and for a small townhome complex, 32 units. And recently one of the builders, I won't mention, added a triplex to that unit, and part of the agreement was that they would put rock beds in around the building, so it was similar to the rest of the places, and 2 years later, they were still not there, and we had no luck getting that done. So having someone kind of overseeing this whole thing, to me, sounds important.
Thank you. Can you also email us at the village so we can follow up with the building inspector and
We have since then, the townhome complex itself has paid to put those rocks in, but the builder did not, and he did not finish. And I think this is kind of common with that particular builder.
So it's a done deal now. It's nothing to.
It's a done deal now. We paid for it and done it, completed it, but it was
Sorry to hear that.
very aggravating for 2 years to see that place looking really tough.
And that's part of this. We wanna fix those kind of things.
And this would be the same as commercial, so it'd be really no different.
Correct.
Turning over keys when it's agreed upon that the finish, the product is finished,
Correct.
so.
Would anybody like to make a motion?
Well, is the planning commission recommending that we do like a zoning ordinance in order to get this appointment or change, or is this something that we can do as a board just with a motion?
There's already the ordinance in effect. We just didn't have that position filled.
So how would
it's
the
already-
position,
it's already
how
in
would
our
the position,
ordinance
how would the position be filled then?
By the planning commission. And then
So
the
if it's
planning
already in the,
commission-
if it's already in the ordinance and the planning commission just needs to fill it then, right?
That's correct. That's what it's
So-
on the agenda for.
So you don't necessarily need a motion from the board in order to fill the position if it's already in the ordinance. I think the planning commission should carry forward with their duties and
not-
appoint as.
The duty is not fulfilled by the planning commission right now. It's just an open position that the planning commission has agreed to take upon themselves, so to not have problems like that in the future.
Okay, so the planning commission wants to defer that to a zoning administrator, right?
The planning commission is going to also be the zoning administrator after completion.
Oh, okay. I understand now. So you want the planning commission, you want a motion to allow the planning commission to be the zoning administrator?
That is correct.
I could do it. I'll make a motion, for the planning commission to be the zoning administrator.
Chris Dubak.
I'll second the motion.
Chris Dubak already seconded it. We've got a first and a second on the table. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
I'm going to abstain.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. There's 5 yes and 1 abstention. Motion carries. So, Public Works, the September 13th meeting report.
Yeah, I guess, if you want me to, start with the pay application 12 for the wastewater treatment facility. I guess, did you get was the memo in the packet? I don't know. I don't know if there was any questions. I have quite a few pay applications. I can just go right into that if you'd
You
like.
have your computer?
Yeah, these were all approved by all of the pay apps were approved by the Public Works Board.
So I'll just go through so first on the docket, we have pay application 12 for the wastewater treatment facility improvement project. We're recommending approval, the Public Works recommending approval. Pay app 12 is to Staub Construction Corporation in the amount of $146,743.65.
And then which project was this for?
It's a wastewater treatment facility improvements.
It's the ongoing improvements for the wastewater. This is a progressive payment that was approved by the planning commission or the Public Works committee at their meeting last week. Recommended for approval, I should say.
Make a motion for to approval of pay up 12 for wastewater treatment facility improvements.
For how much?
Suggest a dollar amount in there if you
For
want the motion, please.
$146,743.65.
Donnie Kern, second.
Brandon seconded it first. Any discussion?
That's fine.
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
Next, we have change order number 5 for the same project, the wastewater treatment facility improvements.
Yeah,
And
and this one was specifically because we had some pipe, some diagrams for some underground pipe that wasn't where it was supposed to be.
yeah, so there's some pipes in the field that had to be relocated. And this change order is for $7,594. We're recommending approval, as is Public Works.
If I make a motion to approve, change order number 5 for $7,594.
Second. Caleb Garn second, Brandon makes motion, Caleb Garn seconds, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Oh, so one last, the map is updated now, right? Good, the map for all the schematics is good.
Yeah.
Motion carries.
So, pay application 12 for the wastewater treatment facility was for work in June. We finally got all the support documentation. Now we have in front of you is pay application number 13 for the wastewater treatment facility, and that's for work in July. Okay, and Public Works and MSA is recommending approval. This pay application is for $329,168.35.
Brandon Crowe make a motion to approve pay app 13, the amount of $329,168.35.
Chris Merrill, second.
First and a second, any discussion?
I'd just like to say that I believe all of these have been pretty well vetted at the Public Works and reviewed. And we're all recommended for approval. Just if there's questions on any of that stuff, people can review the meeting online if they wish to see what was all discussed at the Public Works Committee.
I just have one quick question. Looks like we still owe about 1.64 million over the overall project. When is that expected to be completed by?
Substantial completion is mid-October. That's,
October next month?
yeah, October next month, and then, final completion will follow a month later.
And then all this money has already been, we got loans for all this money, so it's all bonded and stuff. So.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
So next we have a Main Street Bridge inspection proposal. And as you may recall, this, it's a fracture critical bridge. Your bridge over the Apple River needs to be inspected every other year. We were hoping to do it after all the work was completed on the bridge, including the utilities that hang underneath it. Well, it requires a picker truck loaned to us from the DOT. And they said you could have it on the 14th. And so this is actually, it was recommended by approval on the 13th by Public Works, but the inspection work is already done. just because there wasn't any room, timing was such, so it's
For the amount of $3,000.
$270.
And that's budgeted.
Yeah.
Make a
Yeah,
motion for approval.
Randy Crum second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Same sign. Motion carries.
Next, we have the Main and Spring Street pay application number 2. It's recommended for approval by both Public Works as well as MSA. And this pay application 2 is to Tri-City Contractors in the amount of $423,421.86.
Caleb Garn make a motion to approve Main Street Bridge pay app number 2. in the amount of $423,421.86.
Crum second.
It's actually, if you could amend it to say Main and Spring Street. We also have a Main Street Bridge. You can make that motion or consider making that motion next.
I'll amend the motion to Main and Spring Street pay app number 2 in the amount of $423,421.86.
Randy Crum second.
Hearing a first and a second on the table, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
And finally, the Main Street Bridge pay application number 2. And this is to Lunda Construction in the amount of $633,168.49. Public Works recommends approval as well as MSA.
Randy Crum make a motion to approve Main Street Bridge Utility Expansion Joint Replacement pay application number 2 in the amount of $633,168.49.
Second.
Caleb Garn second, Brandon makes a motion, Caleb second, any discussion?
Yes, I believe you might want to note that this is for the main work that has been completed already with the girders on both sides of the bridge, but the utilities still is subject to you will be seeing additional pay apps for that as they're still waiting for the hangars, and that work is yet to be completed on the utilities under the bridge.
Thank you, Donnie.
What's the approximate number for that?
That's 600,000. It's basically 600,000 to do the top part and 600,000 to do in rough numbers.
First and a second, discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Discussion possible approval, disc golf course update and sponsorship goals.
Yeah, so I put this one on here. We've started a fundraiser for the disc golf course for some improvements. None of that will come out of the budget. That is a separate budget line item. And as part of that, not only the fundraiser, we're also doing sponsorship of holes. So it has been thrown out there. Some people would be willing to sponsor some holes. And I came up with through some conversations, we came up with a number of $500 to sponsor the holes. And that would be for one hole for 3 years. So part of that was I made, this is just an agreement that Paul and I looked over. So I'd ask for us to we don't need to approve the agreement tonight, but maybe we can look at this and go over it. The thing that we really want approval for tonight is that when we do have a sign, we do have agreement that we can move in with the signs and install them. So we have posts and 11 by 18 signs. And I did share the rough designs for those signs. It's basically just a layout of the hole and then the stats for the distances. And then that would be put in by Somerset Disc Golf Course, myself, and then we would probably need possibly need some assistance from the guys at Public Works with some of the equipment.
Would somebody like to make a motion to approve putting the signs on village property?
Kilgarn, make a motion to approve signage for disc golf course hole signs at the discretion of the disc golf enthusiasts.
Is there a second?
Donnie Kern second.
Any discussion?
I have one.
Just one clarification. That's at the LaGranger only at this point in time and not on at Parnell Prairie Park, right?
Correct, yep.
Is this something we gotta run by the town as well, or?
No,
That's
this is just ours.
Oh,
Just the
we're-
Granger one, yep. We should have some conversations at the joint meeting though about the Parnell Prairie
Okay.
disc golf course, so I would expect there to be some conversations around that next week.
Yeah, I believe that's on the agenda for next week's conversation, yeah.
Are we setting an amount on this?
No, this will cost the village,
Cost anything.
this will
No, I
cost the
mean,
village
no.
nothing.
Okay, so we don't even have to tackle about that right now.
No,
They're
just
just
that the
asking.
OKS putting up signs.
Permission to be able to put signs on the village properties.
Can I just say real quick, the champions have this on their agenda as well to discuss how we can support this. There seems to be a lot of support for it, so, and we're hoping that we can maybe like some golf outing type things that can support.
Sure, for a spring tournament.
First and a second on the table. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank
Thank
you
you
guys.
very much, everyone.
Discussion possible approval, street use permit for the Somerset schools.
Yeah, I think we went over this in Public Works and the one thing that everyone really liked was they're starting in Mary Forest Park now instead of over at the school, so that kind of helps everyone out. So they have their insurance in order for all this, so. Frank Crum make a motion to approve the street use permit for the Somerset schools for the homecoming parade.
Donnie,
Brandon makes first, Caleb seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And this is for Friday, October 13th from 2 to 3 p.m. at Larry Court. Discussion possible approval, Wine Sap and River Hills punch list.
So this was brought up during the Public Works meeting, and I just wanted to make clarification that Bob and team are aware of the failures that have been observed up there at River Hills. By no means is them saying that this punch list is completed, that they're done. We are aware of the driveways that have been messed up, and the sidewalks that have been messed up, and we will address those. So while this punch list has some things completed on it, they are gonna have to go back and fix some things.
So
I think the whole intent of having this on the agenda was that Chuck was gonna meet with Bob and get back to us as far as a timetable, because we want to hold the developers accountable in those two developments to what the developer's agreement was and whether or not we need to what if there's legal action that we need to take at some point in time, because it's been an ongoing thing for the people in those areas, like Brandon has said. So Chuck, I'm listening for, you said you would give us a report back on that.
Yeah, so let's take one at a time here. You know, so you have
Okay.
Rivers Hills North.
Sir, do you wanna start from I kind of jumped ahead on the punch list to the second one on our agenda?
Oh, yeah, River Hills here is, you know, we revised it just to clean it up and just things that were finished, we took off the list, okay? You know, there's no reason that they can't get this work done in the next month. Doesn't mean they will, but there's no reason they shouldn't be able to do that.
And if they don't, then we still have the money
Yeah,
of theirs to do it.
it's just getting late in the year and I don't know if you know, what the village board wishes, if they want us to help craft a letter for the attorney to send out, or, you know, how you want to put some teeth into this.
I would.
So
like to-
a little background on this.
Donnie, one sec. So one thing that I want this done before winter, because these folks, their driveways are ruined. I don't know how they're gonna plow them, shovel them, get the snow out of them. So this needs to be done, especially some of those drive, you know which ones I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Donnie, go ahead.
Sorry, Donnie.
I would say the one thing, a little background on this is we've been dealing with this all summer. And we've kind of, with Bob has been reaching out to him and the matters have just been, it's, continuing to be not addressed. And all we've said is continue to, follow up with them and say, when are we going to get this done? When are we going to get this done? And in August, at Public Works, we didn't want to put any more pressure because we were trying to get all of this construction done. Bob said, give me until September. And now it's September and I say action. I'm calling for action on these items by the board. I'm asking for assistance to get these matters put to bed before, because any developer that comes in here, they either got to give us a timetable and have it committed. And if MSA is saying that they can be done by winter, what do you need from us? 30 days? That they get completed within 30 days. I know we can still move dirt and get things done with another 30 days, but I'm with Brandon. This needs to be completed before winter.
They're building houses right now, they can do sidewalks. They're out there swinging hammers.
Thank you, gentlemen. Paul, what would be your thoughts or recommendation on this?
Well, I can work with Bob.
We'll work with
And we'll come up with
MSA and
whatever,
Bob
we'll
and-
send it out and, we'll have to look at timing because, if the village wants to step in and do it, that takes time after the fact to hire somebody to get in there and do it, even if you have the money to do it.
Can we get out a letter within 2 weeks?
Oh, yeah, we get, a week.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see that being an issue.
I mean, I know there's some of the cement issues out there are different than other ones, but the ones specifically in their driveway, like I'm seeing ones by the curb where the so the curb's here and then there's 4 inches of sunk in driveway.
Yeah, we looked at it, we
We
watched
watched the
it.
entire thing on Friday, and just historically, this is not been just this summer, it's gone for a while. And everything's, give us 2 weeks, okay, give them 2 weeks, it doesn't get done. Well, they have another excuse to give us another 2 weeks, it's another 2 weeks. And
So if you guys can get that letter done within a week, what kind of, you looking at 2 weeks for them to remedy it?
Yeah, we'll have to, 2-3 weeks, we'll come up with a final number once the letter, the draft the letter, if that works, get it done, give them a sufficient amount of time, but,
Completion by then, by October.
by October
31st.
15th, so we have a little bit of
October
time
15th.
to clean up, some of the gravest areas. I mean, they are making progress,
I suppose we
but,
can,
they were supposed to have the driveway, the czars of tar out there and they haven't been yet,
so
so.
we can make a motion to have a letter written up and have them completed by October 15th, or the village will take action. Since it is under discussion, possible approval. Does anybody want to make?
I have
a
a
motion?
I have a question. This is Tony, the building inspector.
Go ahead, Tony.
So is it just a certain builder or is it all 3 of them?
it's the
Can I
developer.
ask?
Owner of the
Oh,
developer.
yeah, it's just the developer, it's the guys who came in and did all the cement. So the developer who's not building any buildings anymore is the one who's causing the issues.
Okay,
In this
my thoughts
development,
were,
in
okay,
this- Yeah,
okay.
so we're talking about Wine-Zap, correct?
River Hills.
And River Hills.
this
And River
specific,
Hills, okay,
it is, yeah, it's the same
Th- th-
developer in
Well,
both.
this, yeah, it's,
all right.
One-
technically, it's,
One letter for both developments, correct?
well,
Okay.
no, it'd be 2 separate letters,
Two
they're
separate
2
letters.
separate issues, and there'd be 2 separate goals.
So let's make 2 separate motions if we'd like to
Yeah,
do
so I would just suggest that, right now, we're talking about River Hills, focus on that one.
Somebody would like to make a motion for River Hills?
So move.
So move.
What's the motion?
The motion is to send a letter within a week to the developer of River Hills, giving them 2 weeks to remedy the punch list, or the village will take it over by October 15th.
Second.
Donnie makes a motion, Caleb Garn seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Anybody want to make a motion for the Wine-Sap development?
Well, the wine step's a little trickier, just because you know, there's no wear course down, there's, you know, that's not getting done in a month. You know, and there's some redesign that they're currently doing. We just received a sketch plan for review from the developer's engineer.
Yeah, what are they doing with that pond there on the, would that be the east side of the road, like all behind the houses? That's gonna be there forever, that pond?
The south side pond will be,
Yeah,
once they finish it.
How much time does the Winesap development need?
well, Bob, you're free to type in here, but my thought is that they have to have a plan for this hill at the entrance, you know what I'm referring to.
Yes.
A plan for that and that outfall resolved or a plan, because if they can't get some sort of easement from the school, then they, you know, they just have to figure out a different plan. They have to send the water, because that's, right now, I mean, the approved plan has that, the overflow crossing city land or the school
They have
land.
an easement for.
And even though they, you know, the previous superintendent was amenable, the current one is not without,
Well,
you know, they haven't come to
Nothing's in
terms yet.
writing.
yeah, I think they've had conversations, but I
Yeah.
don't think they've gone anywhere.
Letter
So I would-
within 2 weeks and
Just saying, you know, we gotta have
something
You know,
by
that-
October 31st.
the issue that resolved and a revised plan for the that hill as well as the outfall. And
Yeah,
there might be a couple other ticky-tacky things we wanna cover in there too.
if they're
Not
not,
just limited to that, but, you know, I can work with Bob and the attorney.
if they're not gonna come to the negotiating table, then they're gonna have to come up with another plan.
Yeah,
And at this point,
Well,
they haven't come to the negotiating.
they'll have to
table.
do it on site. I mean, They got plenty of room.
Less
How
lot.
long would it take them to re-engineer something and submit the re-engineering plans to you guys? If they can't, I mean, they've been in ongoing discussions with, you know, trying to gain an easement and that's failed. So if we say we need to have re-engineering plans by such and such a date, or a plan to remedy it on the easement by such and such a date.
Well, Donnie, I would suggest you let us work that out at the staff level, but what my initial thoughts is you give them till the end of October.
Can you guys do the letter within 2 weeks though?
Yeah,
Letter within 2 weeks and
Well, my question to you is, if it doesn't get done by the end of October, like you're saying, and we give them till the end of October, then will anything happen with regards to that, that development and that issue, yet before winter?
this has gone through the planning commission, Donnie, and they'll have to re-engineer it. Well, they'll have a lot less lots and a lot more water retention ponds if they are not able to make an agreement with the school utilities.
Okay.
Anybody want to make a motion?
What about the other items? Do you want that on a separate motion?
This is a separate one. This is for the Winesap division. So what we discussed is MSA to work with the village attorney to send out a letter within 2 weeks and give them till October 31st to come up to either have something in place with the school for utilities or redesign of their lots up there.
So move.
Second. First and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
all right, thank you.
Discussion possible approval, street use permit, Chamber of Commerce. I think this was for kind of the bridge opening on October 21st.
Yes, we're requesting a open carry permit.
Open carry that
This
has
is-
guns.
Excuse me, open carry.
You can, I just don't think that's what you're wanting to do here, but that's okay.
Open container, excuse me. I'm sorry, my brain today.
No worries.
Becca, this item is just for your street use permit. Your open container one comes in a couple items.
Oh, excuse me, I apologize.
the street use permit though is, we're on for Saturday. And is that street use permit still as a Friday night as backup, or is it dedicated to Saturday now?
Still Friday night as backup. We did get an email from the governor's office that we're now on his scheduling agenda. The earliest we'll hear if he's coming for sure or not would be this Saturday, but they've said 2 to 4 weeks before the event. So that'll probably stay as an alternative date, clear up until about 2 weeks before.
And then
Unless
did
we hear
discuss-
sooner, excuse me.
We did discuss, this came from Public Works, Brandon, had the insight to say, hey, school's kind of going on Friday from 2 to, 4 where the buses and stuff would be going through. Is there any way that we could change that alternate time till after the buses go through before we try to close down that bridge?
We since found out that there's no school that day, it's a in-service day, so it's a non-issue.
Yeah.
Problem
Oh,
solved.
wow. It's like it's meant to be. He's coming on Friday.
Problem solved.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I'll just go through it just real quick. It's, looking for a couple hundred people probably. Hopefully the governor comes. They're looking to use the empty lots that the village owns here of Main Street, Parent Street, and possible parking in Lower Village Park. And then Parent Street to HUD for a
Crossing
parade.
over Spring, yeah.
Crossing over Spring.
Correct.
Anybody like to make a motion?
I'm gonna make a motion to approve the street use permit for the chamber.
Is there a second?
Donnie Kern, second.
Donnie seconds. Any discussion?
I've discussion that I'm just super excited about it. I think it's great. It's back open and yeah, let's get it.
Thank
All in
you.
favor?
Just
Aye.
Opposed, same
Just,
sign. It already went through. Becca, nothing left to say.
We got you.
All right.
awesome. Thanks, you guys.
Yeah, thanks, Becca. All right, public safety. Want to, look to approve the minutes from public safety. I make a motion to receive or approve the public safety minutes from Monday, September 11th.
Frank Cron, second.
Discussion?
I just have a note, on the bottom of the second page, paragraph, number 3, I should say, 7.3, it, should read memorandum of understanding. Can you possibly change that?
Where are you looking?
So under the police chief report, number 3,
Please.
the very bottom of the second page.
Very last
So-
one.
Please.
Yep, the very last
Memo
one.
C3.
opportunity, I think it should be memo of understanding.
Good catch. What is a memo? You send a memo?
Agreement,
Sort of like that. This is how we're gonna operate between the two partners for certain activities.
Got it. Okay.
And some important-
A second. First and a second.
Is there,
Yeah.
I heard it first.
I got a second. Oh,
Okay.
You did.
You second?
I second, yep.
Okay, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Discussion, possible approval, Kennedy's Cafe license premise extension.
And I just included the minutes from the August meeting, since that was discussed there. But that was the day before the August village board meeting, so it wasn't included on that meeting agenda.
Anybody like to make a motion to approve it?
It was approved by the public safety.
Correct.
Donnie Kern make a motion to approve the recommendation from public safety.
Second.
First and a second, any discussion? None, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I will abstain. Any abstention, any nays? Motion carries. Discussion possible approval, open container request for the Chamber of Commerce. This is you again, Becca.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah,
The more American.
Make a
Sorry, yeah.
motion to approve
So
the-
can we carry and carry, or do we can only carry? I don't know.
Can't carry.
No, I
Chief is
don't think
shaking
that
his
will
head.
fly with our insurance
He's
permit,
shaking his
sorry.
head, his eyes are awfully
I
shit.
think you can, though, you just can't be intoxicated, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
So is there's a motion and a second?
I got Caleb as a motion, I don't have a second.
Caleb's,
Brandon second.
Brandon Crones, Caleb makes a motion, Brandon Crones second, any
Yeah.
discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
can I say one quick thing after you're done voting?
It already went through, Becca.
No, I know, it has nothing to do with that. I need to email you something that's not on the agenda, so please look at your emails. It doesn't need a vote.
Okay, sounds good. We will,
Surprise email.
all right. Finance and personnel, let's look up the September 13th meeting report. I make a motion to approve the minutes of September 13th meeting report from Finance Personnel Committee meeting.
Brandon Crowe second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign, motion carries. Discussion possible approval conducting business on village property.
What is this?
Donnie, I think this one's yours, correct? Donnie, you're muted, trying to talk. Yeah.
I guess I can add some things to this. I was asked to review the ordinance about transient merchants, and yes, I saw some areas where it could be improved in terms of defining what permanent merchants were, what transient merchants were, and what was required to have them operate on village property. And sort of distinguish between, temporary and something that's a little more permanent. I was thinking of the coffee hut out here on the vacant lot, where those instances, you really want to have an agreement in place.
For sure.
For those things, more than just a simple permit or something to operate.
Handshake, more than a handshake.
Yeah.
Agreement.
And so we had talked about possibly amending the ordinance to address some of those items.
But it would still be at no cost to those folks, right? We're not charging them right now, right? Coffee house or anyone?
As far as I know.
They have, yeah,
Okay.
they do, they get-
All right, I just don't wanna come at this won't come at a cost to them.
No, I mean, that's gonna be up to you guys if you wanna charge people or not.
Okay.
Otherwise, like, anybody could just come in and set up shop there.
Yeah, we should definitely have maybe something written down or
You should
something.
have an agreement, you should have insurance, you should have the ability to ask them to leave if it's not working out.
Yeah, cause what, right now, if we ask them to leave, they could just stay there?
Well, there's no agreement, that's the thing.
Well, and there's a liability side.
There's
Yeah.
none of those things
Somebody
apply.
slips and falls in the parking lot because they were
Get coffee.
getting coffee, whose problem is that?
That'd be ours.
So a cost to them is a cost to them.
Yeah.
And if I'm that merchant and I'm gonna make an investment to go there and operate, I want some assurance that the village isn't gonna change their mind at the next board meeting and say, get out of here.
Yeah, it benefit both
Yeah,
parties,
it
absolutely.
benefits both parties.
Who's gonna draft that? Are you already working on drafting something, or is Donnie gonna work on touching up what he wants to see, or want me
I
to
have
take a
not,
whack
I
at
have
it?
not
or-
started to draft the changes. I think it was gonna be discussed here tonight that you wanted to go down that path.
Yeah, if you could work on something and bring it back to the Personnel and Finance Committee and then, perfect.
As a first order, are we named insured?
I made sure of that right away. They
Okay.
did name us, the village, as a named insured, and, this is even when Felicia was still here, so.
What is,
Good.
sure,
The village is covered for, I think their policy was up to $1 million, so they're covering the lot for their insurance, and then the village is a named insured for that property as well,
oh, got
for
it,
their, under their insurance.
We're in line if something happens.
got it, got it.
So we don't need any, action on that, we'll come back to bring it back to Personnel and
Well-
Finance.
I guess I just have, are we talking about wheelhouse and the lot there? Usage?
Yep,
Yeah.
So
Okay.
did you hear everything that Paul had said,
Kinda
Donnie?
froze there a little bit.
My Zoom dropped on me here. So I called right back.
Paul basically said that he can work on some language for the transient merchant and permanent merchant, and then bring it back to personnel and finance, and then we will go to the full village board next month.
Okay, that's fine by me. I just, I think, you know, at some point in time, we just gotta make sure that, you know, we're not, I guess for Paul, we're not creating any kind of precedent for any other businesses to just come in and start, operating on village property, you know, going forward. I mean, by us taking the initiative here and getting this put to bed.
Well, I think that's the idea, is to ensure people just don't set up shop without a permit and without going through the process.
I did, yeah, okay.
Discussion possible approval of police officer vacancy. This one came with a couple times to personnel and finance. I looked at a ton of different things, met with Joel, emails from Joel, received reports from Joel. I contacted dispatch, got reports, the number of incidents from them. We've went from 5 officers to 7 officers. One of the officers is no longer with us. So then the question is, do we fill that 7th officer position after it was a school resource officer position where the school cut up 1.4 million from their funding? Part of that got cut basically from $45,000 a year or so to $15,000 a year, to where they only want up to 8 hours to pay for the school. We looked at everything, and basically I would like to make a motion for the police department to move forward in filling that vacancy of that 7th officer position. It comes at about a $30,000 deficit in the 2024 budget. I think we can come up with that money. Andrea says the shared revenue from the state is looking good, and we should be getting quite a bit more money from the state.
Hi, Phoebe.
Our police department.
What?
Will you mute David? Our police department definitely feels that the 7th officer position is warranted and justified, and after extensive research of talking to Joel, the sheriff, looking at all.
Donnie Kern, second.
Okay. Motion on the floor by me, second by Donnie. Any discussion?
Double second.
This is the only comment is this is absolutely the right decision. I'm glad this is where we ended up.
Me too.
Me too.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Discussion interim conditional use of permit of events, and I apologize to EJ. We had a meeting yesterday about this, and I said I was gonna put him up to the front of the meeting, and I screwed that up, EJ, so I apologize for.
I'm fine. That's good.
So you want me to talk about it, Donnie or EJ, or do you want me to? So in the interim conditional use permit, we discussed a few things. The village hadn't been paid yet. The fire department, a couple things, and it was an error, a clerical error on our end, where it didn't even say invoice or have an invoice number. So it sat at Live Nation Corporate because they didn't know what to do with it, because it wasn't an invoice. It didn't get paid right away. I believe has it gotten paid, or it's in the process of getting paid right now?
Yeah, she should have got it here any day.
Okay, so the other part of our discussion was currently the ICUP is a $5,000 deposit for Live Nation. We discussed upping that to 10,000 to start the year out. EJ and Live Nation is in favor of that. Also, instead of submitting the invoice for the fire department and the police department within 30 days, and then Live Nation has 30 days to respond, instead of having that wait period, Live Nation has given EJ the go-ahead to he can write the check himself within, it's gotta be within 7 days of that event. Or it goes back to the Live Nation Worldwide, and then it kind of gets stuck in their timetable of whatever time they receive it to get it back around 30 days after. So instead of getting it to Live Nation and waiting, EJ is gonna be able to cut the check right on the spot or within the first 7 days. The other thing that we discussed is, I didn't have the exact verbiage, but in case of inclement weather, what the board had decided on going up to an hour after a show, instead of just kicking people out and getting them angry, that, that language that we approved early on would also be in the conditional use permit, for next year's conditional use permit. Am I missing anything, EJ?
That was it, 3 items.
Okay, and so this was just discussion.
So I did add some stuff to that. We did send that out for the for the conditional use permit out on, so I did add some additional stuff to that, some additional things I'd like to see within the permit for next year.
Okay, when did you do that? I didn't see anything on our working document of it yesterday when we were at our meeting.
I sent them out individually so that all of you weren't working on the same document, because that would be walking quorum. So each of you had your own version, and then I'll compile all of the suggestions to bring back to the board.
Yeah, I think that date was October 1st was the date.
So I could have it back to the committees, necessary committees by the October committee meetings.
Can I ask what the recommendations are? Yeah, mine was to specifically say who was responsible for putting out signs, because that was a point of contention this year, and I wanted you guys to be responsible for that. The next one was I put in there that, the weather issue we came up with, and the last one I put in was a 2% surcharge we put on each ticket, and that's a village resident dividend for having to have the concerts here, and I want that to go towards some sort of park fund or something like that. So when people say, what do we get for having concerts here? Well, I can say, we do a 2% surcharge on the tickets that goes right back into the village. So those are the things I added.
I'm gonna go on the record here and say that I think we need to look at weekday concerts a little differently than weekend concerts.
Yeah,
especially during the school, and I'm not putting anything out there right now because I've been substantially swamped with work. But I can say this, EJ, I hope you guys can take into serious consideration that 11 o'clock during the weekday for school days and such like that is a little bit extreme for the residents, and several residents have expressed concerns on that matter, and I gotta agree with them.
Yeah, I put that in there too, Donnie. That's a good point. I put 10:30 as a time for what time they should end. And I also noticed on there that it allows for 25 events. I think 25 is way too many. So I think maybe we need to agree on, like, I said 18, maybe. That's a point maybe we can start, because I just think to myself, like, 20, if we actually had 25 events, it would be nuts. So I think it was left a little more wide open before, so I think we just need to rein that in a little bit. Then I know I didn't expect to come and have a negotiation agree. I thought we would have all this typed up and we could go back and forth, but that was just what I had put in there.
Okay, well, I mean, you wanna talk about it a little bit, or?
I think we can take it offline. Do we need to have the conversation here?
Yeah, not right. We don't have to have that now. I don't think. If you wanna go.
You got my number, EJ.
If you wanna go direct with him or whoever.
Would anyone be adverse to any of those conditions that
Well, I think because, each day is an event. So if you have a 3-day concert or a 3-day festival, that's 3 days. That's not just one event. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, so if we have 3 concerts.
That's 9 events just there.
That's 9 days right there.
Right.
That makes sense.
And the 2% thing, I mean, you're talking about, giving back to community. I mean, I don't know what. All businesses are making money, given to the different organizations.
Yeah, I know we were supposed to have an economic impact statement. We had talked about that. We haven't seen one yet. So that's why I had this, that's why.
That takes a long time. Cause I already hired Kimberly Horn to do that. So that's all in the makings right now.
Did that go through
Can't
the board
just-
at all, at Impex?
Yeah, nobody is demanding us to do it. We are doing that. That's just something.
Yeah, we had talked and you had said that you were gonna have that and you'd be able to share that.
Yep, when it comes.
So it's cause at the end of the day, the folks come to us and they say, it's too late. I can't park it where my spot is. It's a hassle. And we're standing here going, well, we don't have any data to back it up to say, here's the concrete numbers of how you benefit. Here's it's hard to
Well,
defend
it's a
without the
business,
data.
Brandon. I mean, it's a business.
Yeah.
Does, Sam's Christmas Village give a 2%, you know, for the traffic and, you know, the light pollution, you know.
But do they,
And our concerts have never gone till 11 o'clock. Every concert has been shut down, you know, way before 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock is our hard shutdown time. Midnight is our hard shutdown time. The last concert we had was, what was it, 10:35, I think it was the end of the concert, so.
I was there, I was at it. It was a good show. You cleared it out good. Did a good job, but not everyone is on board with having concerts. Not everyone is on board with that, so we need to.
Well, I'm not gonna pay them people just so I can have concerts here, you know what I mean? It's a business.
And
In
there's
Somerset.
villagers and residents that live here too, so we gotta be conscious of that.
Yeah, and you don't think we're conscious of with the community?
I'm not saying that.
Well, you're the one that's putting the stipulations in the conditional use permit.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, and coming back to that, I mean, I don't think the village board voted for an impact study or an impact statement, did they? You asked it on.
No, we had, EJ and I talked.
Yeah.
I'll find it.
He asked me if we were gonna do one, and I said, yeah. We have to.
Just making sure if it was something that before us other people got on the board, but.
Is it, my questioning on the EJ, if you could please take into consideration a little bit, like when we were dealing with school nights and stuff like that, that we might wanna look at that for our children too. And you know, I mean, we are a community and it is a business, and I think we need to be able to look at our, there's a lot of people that say, well, I work during the week and yada, 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 and I get that. I mean, we gotta find a happy medium there. And I get it also that this is Somerset and I've been here a long time and been through a lot of these concerts, and I've dealt with it too, but maybe just like some consideration towards the weekday, you know, times when people are, you know, have to get up for work and such.
I don't know that there's ever been on a school night, and I think that's part of the.
No, the last concert was on the first day of school. That was the only one.
The last concert, the Lumineers
The last
concert was on.
Lumineers was on the first day of school.
Okay.
And that was the one that got done early. And people are complaining about that.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Are they?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Okay. All right, so we got some things to discuss, and luckily we have it on the, have an agenda and a discussion item early. Fire rescue, the August report. And I'll skim through it quick. Update for August 2023, they responded to 51 calls for service, 21 calls in the village, 19 medicals, 7 fire rescues, 16 in the township with 9 medicals and 7 fire rescue calls, 8 auto aid calls, 7 in St. Joe and 1 in Star Prairie. Brings us to a total of 295 runs for the year compared to 312 for the same time in 2022. They're currently at 21 members, 16 full-time and 5 probationary members. They're below staffing for what they'd like to see and need to get probationary members on as full-time members before they consider taking any new members on. As always, the the public is more than welcome to stop in and say hi at the station when you see someone's there. They welcome visitors and are more than willing to give a tour and show their trucks and equipment. That's from Travis Boyle, the fire chief.
Is there a way we could put something out on the website for the village, that there's openings, and that they should inquire for possible openings of volunteer firefighters?
Would you want to work with Travis on that and ask him if that's something he would like? Good call, Donnie, thank you. Unfinished business, discussion, possible approval of the Sean Wisen restitution.
Has anything of that been paid?
Andrea?
Andrea said today, no, but it's not due until January of 2025.
No payments have been made at this time. The reason I'm asking is, where is that money to be going, once it's being received? I didn't know if anything has been, I haven't seen anything on the budgets or anything, so that's why I was asking.
I think it would go in the general fund and then it would go back to public works, right?
Sewer and water utilities.
Sewer and water utilities.
Would it be sewer? Water?
You break it up a little, Donnie.
I said, would it be sewer and water or water?
Sewer and water.
Sewer and water, according to Bob.
Well, they're two separate things. So is half of it going one way or is it all together as one?
Split it in two,
I think there's a calculation.
or calculation of probably how much was taken from which bucket.
There's a lot of data. I know you requested stuff, I didn't have time,
Okay,
and I don't know exactly what
just the
piece of it.
the breakdown, whatever you,
There's a ton of it, so.
yeah, if you just get us the board report on
What about attorney's fees? Is that included in settlement or? I don't see anything about it.
it. I don't know, was a settlement in here?
I think just
Or
under
did you put the settlement in here, Jason?
Yep, it's included in the package.
13,074.
What? Well, I believe the settlement agreement was just an amount, but I don't think there was anything as far as attorney's fees and, you know,
Yeah, at this point, I don't know if it's really worth rehashing it. Right.
Well,
we
I guess
settled
when
with that
something
amount.
The breakdown of it.
Okay,
So we can put that on, you can bring that to the public works, right? Get it to the full board and then it can go on the public works agenda for next month. Does that work for you, Donnie? Or do you have any other?
I'm perfectly fine with it as long as nothing has been paid in already, because I didn't know where it was going and how it was, you know, what, you know, is there some for attorney's fees? Is there not? I mean, because if it was all for sewer or it's all for water, I thought it was water because, you know, but if you're saying a breakout, then let's discuss that. I just want to make sure it's going in the right pots when it comes in.
And it's not due till January 2025, so if we get it at that next meeting, we'll plenty of time to dissect it and go over it.
So what's the actual question on this?
Just to see when it was due. and
Just talking about it?
Once we get
And-
get the information, we can discuss it further.
If it's all, yeah.
Okay, new business discussion, guidelines for Zoom.
I put this one on here. This one, I've noticed that some of our meetings, some folks have been late or they've been kind of doing other things and stuff like that. You know, COVID's over now. Zoom's nice for everyone who is, I shouldn't say COVID's not over, but you know, that's the reason we went to this. I think it's great for folks to tune in and stuff like that, but I think board members should be here. They should be present. We collect a paycheck. We should be here representing our constituents. We should face them face to face. Unless you are sick or you have to be gone for work, you should be here. So I guess I would kind of like us to start parsing together some guidelines on when it's okay to be on Zoom and how many times we can miss before there's some sort of repercussions or something along those lines.
I personally disagree. I'm a fan of Zoom. I think Donnie does a great job, and then just because he's gone for work doesn't mean he's not a very, very valuable member of this board. He was elected by the citizens, and at the time they knew his work schedule and how and when he can make it and when he can't.
Yeah, this isn't, if he's gotta be up for work, I understand. That was the stipulation is if you have to be gone for work, traveling for work, that's okay, or you're sick. But if you have to be on it, you should be as Donnie is. He's engaged, his camera's up all the time. And he's not moving around. I mean, he's driving right now, safely driving, but he's not going around doing other things. So I think we owe that to each other as professionals and to our citizens.
Yeah, and again, I'll disagree because people have lives outside of just being on this board. They don't have to be at every board meeting, just like Josh isn't here. Caleb came in by Zoom at the Public Works meeting.
Because he was sick.
And I think we've already made the guidelines for it that you can come in by Zoom, and if we go to public or closed session, that the person has to be, in order to be in part of closed session, they have to have their camera on video. So to me, it's already been discussed and taken care of. So it's just discussion, so.
Does anyone else have any thoughts?
Do we have our rules documented?
There are no guidelines.
Yes, there are for the closed session.
For closed session, but not for nothing else. There's no.
I'd like
Is
to
there
say really great resources out there that can't be at an event or a meeting, and even medical appointments. I've done some of those Zoom, and believe me, at my age, I'm not real good with that type of technology, but there's a lot of good resources that we can use that can't always make it to the same site we are.
Correct, thank you. Discussion possible approval ordinance amending 9-2-11.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. If I may speak on this matter a little bit before you go on to the next agenda item, if the board will allow.
Make it quick, sir.
I just have we can be on Zoom or we could not be there and not offer our opinions. Whether or not we engage with the public, we're available via email, we're available via phone, and if we were to continue to go, I mean, I just got done with work and I jumped on this Zoom call, for this board meeting, and there were some critical votes and discussions that occurred. Irregardless if I was working or not, if I was sitting at home, I would still be as engaged. And I think everybody that is in these trustee positions, in my opinion, have been engaged all along. You can be sitting at that meeting across from your constituents and not be engaged. I think that's been proven in the past, and certain members were not reelected. So either sitting in that hall or on the Zoom call will be judged by our constituents at the time of our reelections.
Agreed, thank you, sir. Discussion possible approval ordinance amending 9-2-11, the charges for the sewer rate.
Yeah, this has been discussed already, I think, and approved. I think we're just going to go through the formality of notifying the residents, right?
So,
Bob, do you have anything to say on this?
It's just I don't call it a formality, but it does need to be inserted in the ordinance.
It doesn't need to be? It does need to be.
So
Did you look it over?
billing goes into effect in October, so.
You have to pass it.
Brandon Crum make a motion to approve the ordinance amending 9-2-11 charges for sewer rate.
Donnie Kern, second. I think I got you on that one, Caleb.
Been a first and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Discussion possible approval, resolution 2023-14, requesting application for exemption from county library tax.
This is an annual thing, I believe, right?
Yep, it's annual.
So moved to submit.
Go ahead, Donnie.
He moved, he made a motion, any second?
Randy Crown second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Discussion possible approval amendment to tax increment development agreement with the DLS group, otherwise known as Growing Wings.
I can take this one. You're probably all aware that the land closed on the 12th of this month. The development agreement that the board previously approved had certain dates in there for commencement of construction, which, because of the closing being September, they were not able to start by the end of August. So all that this is doing is moving those dates back by 1 month. So it makes sense with the closing date of the 12th.
Anything else you'd like to add?
I would recommend approving.
Somebody like to make a motion?
Randy Crown make a motion to approve amendment to tax increment development agreement with DLS Group Growing Wings.
Randy Crowe
Second.
first, Caleb second. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. The village water and sewer bills.
Everything seems to be in order here on village water and sewer bills. Randy Crown make a motion to approve village water and sewer bills.
Chris Marino, second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Randy Crown make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, Caleb Garn the second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And we are adjourned at 7:27 PM.
Thank you, gentlemen, ladies. Have a good evening.